Why? Why is she such a bad leader? Now, I'm not saying I would be a good leader. Maybe not. You know, you need a certain level of experience to take on these positions and roles. But honestly, I couldn't do much of a worse job than Kathleen Kennedy. Maybe. She just come out and said something which really doesn't make sense. She said that it's hard for Star Wars because when making a new film, there's no pre-existing source material. There's no lore. There's no backstory that we can pull off of and make new stories from that. Now, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here, the pure benefit, because I think this is probably what she meant. She didn't mean to say the things she said, even though she said it. Terrible move, especially for someone in charge of the company. You have to think about what you're saying very, very carefully. In any interview you're in. It's just how it is. But I think what she was saying was, there's no specific outline for Star Wars Episode 8, 7, 9... There's no backstory for it. We're making something completely new. And I think that's probably what she meant. It came off like she was saying she had no clue about the expanded universe, the EU in Star Wars, how there's hundreds and hundreds of books, comic books, video games, mini-series. There's so many things in the Star Wars lore to bat off, to take ideas from, to create new things from. Even if you don't follow the stories directly and 100%, you can make entirely new worlds out of the stuff that is there in the EU. Now, I'm going to be fair, alright? The EU is very hit or miss, you know? I bet they never miss. They're very hit or miss, alright? Some of the stuff is very, very good. Most of the stuff is not great. Now, just a couple of things that I love. The Revan novel, Darth Plagueis, the Thrawn trilogy. Again, I've said I've read 2 of them. I'm going to read the 3rd one. There's so much stuff there. All the video games. Force Unleashed 1 was a sick game. The storyline was great. It almost fit perfectly into the Star Wars canon. It's crazy. It could almost fit there now in some ways. And for her to come out and say that, I think it does a lot of things. It puts a bad taste in a lot of Star Wars fans' mouths who are already not happy with the job she's doing. She doesn't have a positive light, you know, thrown down on her from 60-70% of the fan base, I would assume. Not from me, at least. And my family, who, my sisters at least, and my dad, they're Star Wars fans. They're Star Wars fans. And not as much as I was, but all of them just dislike Star Wars now. All of them. They don't like it. They hated Episode 8. I think my dad saw Solo, and it was okay. It was fine. But, you know, it's too divisive. And stuff like this, where people want to support you. People actually want Star Wars to be good, in case you hadn't noticed. No one wants it to be bad unless you're an actual dickwad. You know, you're a bag of shit, you're a bag of shit, you're a bag of shit. I can't change that. I want Star Wars to be good. I just think with you in charge, it's not looking like it's going to happen. And when you come out and say things like this, where there's no pre-existing source material, like, you've been in the company for decades. You know there's source material. You know that you can be misinterpreted. Just don't say it in the way you said it. And even if you're going off of, and we're going off of the idea, which I think is what you meant here, by saying we didn't have story outlines for 7, 8, and 9. We didn't have, you know, hundreds of pages of novels or loads of books or comic books or pre-existing IP to create these stories. I mean, George Lucas did give you an outline for 7, 8, and 9, and from the way 7 and 8 have gone, it would seem like maybe you should have just gone with Lucas's vision, honestly. The prequels are not great. Attack of the Clones is really, really bad. I like Phantom Menace, and I think Revenge of the Sith is decent. But you probably should have gone with his source material that he, as the creator, gave to Disney. Said, Disney, Bob, I'm surprised Bob Iger came out and said the things he did in his book. I was shocked. I was like, man, you shouldn't have said this stuff. This isn't going to encourage anyone to be on your side of this. Everyone's on George Lucas's side of this stuff now. You chose, along with the creative team at Disney, to not go with it. So don't say now, we didn't have any source material, we're making new things. George gave you an outline. You chose to apparently completely chuck it away and throw it in the bin. Also, you can't say something like this while at the same time cherry picking things from the EU and putting them into Star Wars canon. Thrawn was nowhere in any Star Wars canon because you decided to get rid of the EU and burn it and put it into flames. Book burning madness. You decided to do that and completely chuck away the EU. But then you cherry picked Thrawn out of it for Rebels, which I think was great. I think it was a great addition to Rebels. But the fact you did that gave me a little bit of hope, honestly. It gave me hope for an Old Republic show, for maybe there could be something about Plagueis one day, or Revan. All these things became possibilities because of that one move there. And that one move goes against your thinking here, and goes against your idea, because that 100% would have had to be vetted all the way up to the top. That's not just being allowed to go to like the showrunners of Rebels on Disney XD or Cartoon Network. That is going all the way to the top because it's affecting Star Wars canon and lore in a entertainment medium, not like a book, because there can be problems and continuity problems in books, and most people will have no idea about them. But in the TV shows, in the films, games, none of that shit. You can't have any of it because people will honestly just not have it. I think that at this point, Kathleen, I'm sorry, all right, you've done a job, you've had the job. I think that the job should be gone, all right, from you, personally. Give Dave Filoni the reins, after The Mandalorian, some people are loving the shit out of it, give Jon Favreau the reins. I mean, he's been working with Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel for a decade now, executive producing, tons and tons of films there. But I don't know. He seems to love the shit. And The Mandalorian seems to be in a positive direction. If he wants the job, I'm sure it's probably there for him. But Favreau's a very creative guy. He might not want to be in the rigmarole of the production all the time. He might want to be involved more on that side of the creative process as well. And it's tough. He's really tough to do both. It really is tough to do both. People break down over that type of stuff. It takes years and years to get that stuff right. But I think that comments like that also take a dig at people who adapt screenplays, because it's not an easy thing to write a screenplay, let alone adapt a screenplay. Like, writing a screenplay is one thing, or writing a short. I write shorts, but writing a screenplay, everything is in your head. You've got all your themes, all your ideas, everything you want, and you just shit it out onto a page, right? An adapted screenplay is next level shit, because you have the stuff that the creator wants in it, and then you have you who has to write it, and sometimes it can just be a mental clash, and you cannot get through writing or adapting a screenplay. It sort of belittles that type of stuff as well by saying, oh, if we could adapt screenplays, it would be easier. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And I just think that you should maybe take a step back at this point. You've done enough damage. I want Star Wars to be great again. That was not some type of... that was not anything there. That was, I just want Star Wars to be great. Again. I do. I want it to go back to where we were after Revenge of the Sith. Everyone seemed pretty happy with the franchise. I mean, the no was a bit much, but I was chill with it. I thought it was good. Then they started putting out games like The Force Unleashed, and I was like, man, this is good shit. This fits in the world 100%. And then they cut it out and chucked it away after The Force Unleashed 2. Not as good a game, but actually the gameplay, you had 2 lightsabers that time, so it was quite good, but not as good. 1 was better. Storyline was better in 1, I think. Surely she's had PR training and shit at this point. It's just weird that she would come out with a statement like that. I don't know whether it was in ignorance she said that, or if she said that on purpose. That's the problem with these things. I've not heard the interview. I've just read a transcript of it, and it's not good. It's not good reading, and it doesn't give me hope for Star Wars if she is in charge of it. Anyway, guys, I vented as much as I wanted to. If you did enjoy it, then please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Kathleen Kennedy herself will come after you. All right? You don't want that. You really don't. She will fuck up your life like she's fucked up Star Wars. You don't want that. You really don't, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great, and I'll see you next time. Tomorrow, I make a video every day. See you tomorrow. If you didn't know, I'll see you tomorrow. Skadoosh.